GPS gives you the ability to instantly tell someone the name of a location they're merely thinking of anywhere in the world. This is a very powerful routine, and it allows you to start naming associations between the locations that people are thinking of on stage. You also get them thinking about memories if they've been to this location, and you start working with them and interacting with them. It works on one person, it works up to a dozen people. It packs small, it plays huge. It's been a part of my corporate mystery show for the last several years. It works in audiences from 5 to 5,000. Welcome to GPS. One thing I love about what I do is I get to travel quite a bit. And one thing I do while I'm traveling so that, I can look forward to what the future holds is I collect the luggage tags of the locations that I've been. So I want you to go through these luggage tags and just make sure that they are all different, okay? Take a look at it, put it right back to your chest. There's a landmark there that people would recognize. You were nodding before I was done the sentence. That tells me that there's a prominent, okay, that's good. Yours is actually somewhat close to us, and when I say close, I mean within the country, isn't it? We got Paris, Toronto, Las Vegas, New York. If I just named the location that you were merely thinking of, you may sit down to the thunderous round of applause you're about to get. Thanks for purchasing GPS. For years, I used the tossed out deck in my show. I loved it, the impact was incredible, but I felt very limited by it. Seeing that in my show, I already had several other card tricks. I figured that I needed to replace it with something, so I created GPS. The possibilities are absolutely endless. I mean, you're telling someone a location that they're thinking of. In the routine, as you'll see later on, you also get them thinking about memories if they've been to this location, and you start working with them and interacting with them, and it plays much, much larger than simply having someone think of a playing card. As you learn the routine and as you see it in use, you'll notice that there's going to be memories that are involved. It can be on an emotional level, and it just makes it play so much larger than a standard tossed out deck. I'm going to take you through two standard routines that I use, depending on the environment of the show I'm performing at. Let's take a look at the first standard routine I use now. One thing I love about what I do is I get to travel quite a bit. And one thing I do while I'm traveling so that, I can look forward to what the future holds is I collect the luggage tags of the locations that I've been. I want to try something using locations of where I've been, body language, and a couple of gentlemen from the office, or from the room here. Ryan. Sure. That's what I said, Ryan. Rise, if you will. I want you to go through these luggage tags and just make sure that they are all different. Okay, you might notice one or two locations repeated once or twice. I've been there more than once. That's okay. Go through, make sure they are random locations. Ryan, I'm going to have you stay standing. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to borrow, what is your name there, feller? Mark, you look like you wish you were somewhere else right now. Mark, stand up, would you please? What is your name? Garrett. Stand up if you will. Your name, sir, is Brent. Very good. Stand up if you will, please. We got Ryan, Mark, Garrett, Brent. Fantastic. Locations are all different, yes? Thank you very much. I'm going to read your body language in a moment and hopefully tell you what it is that you're thinking, almost as if I'm going to read your minds.
Good luck.
Good luck. In order for this to work, I need to get my bearings with you. So what I'm going to do is ask you a preliminary question. It's very important that you answer very quickly, gut instinct, nothing more, okay? We're going to play a little game of Would You Rather. Would you rather have as a chauffeur Charlie Sheen or Stevie Wonder?
Oh, Stevie Wonder.
Ooh, Stevie Wonder, really? That's risky. It tells me you're a risk taker.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, it'd be fun.
He's also a musician.
It'd be very entertaining. He'd be singing you wherever you go, eh? Yeah. Mark, you're next. Would you rather... Okay. Would you rather, if you had kids, would you rather have your kids raised by a pack of wild wolves or the singer-songwriter named Britney Spears? What would you rather?
Pack of wolves.
Pack of wolves. Wow. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Garrett,
Yes.
would you rather have as a karaoke partner Sarah Palin or Chewbacca? Chewbacca. Oh yeah, that'd be fun, eh? Would you rather kiss the person on your left and slap the person on your right, or kiss the person on your right and slap the person on your left? That's pretty easy. Why? Just, tell you what, you can answer me later in private. How's that? How's that? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I think I know everything I need to know, except for Brent. You're going to be a hard one. I'm just going to have to kind of make things up with you as we go along. But Ryan, you examined these. You saw they're all different. Because I dribble down, you say stop. Wherever you say stop, that's where we're going to be. That's what we're going to determine who gets what location. Ready for this, Ryan?
Stop.
You're happy with that spot, or you want to change your mind?
That is good.
You're happy. Take that location. Don't, hold it to your chest. Don't look at it. Mark, there you go. Garrett, there you go. Brent, there you go. What you're going to do, hold it to your chest. Take a look at it. Put it right back to your chest. Okay? First question is, do you all know what the location is that you picked? Does it make sense to you? Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you questions. Yes or no is all that you need to give me one by one, starting with you. All right? Have you been there before?
No.
Would you go there?
Yes.
Sooner than later, later than sooner?
Sooner.
Oh,
Sooner
okay.
than later.
Sooner than later, okay. If I name the location out loud, people in the room would instantly know what that location is, yes? Okay. And there's a landmark there that people would recognize. You were nodding before I was done the sentence. That tells me that there's a prominent...
Yes.
Okay, that's good. No, that's good. See, the body tells me what I need to know. Over to you, Mark. Have you been there before?
Yes.
Would you go there again?
Yes.
You were hesitant, so you'd go there if there was a good reason, but other than that, you're not interested. Okay, no, that's fine. I've been to a lot of weird places. If I say the name of the location out loud, everyone in the room would know exactly what it is that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, and there's a landmark there, something that sticks out to people. You're nodding again before I'm done, tells me it's a prominent landmark. Garrett, have you been there before?
No.
Would you go there?
Probably, yeah.
Probably, yeah. Okay, sooner than later, later than sooner?
Sooner.
Sooner. So not probably, yeah, but yeah, you would go because it's sooner than later, which tells me you've thought about going. When you go there, you actually know what you would do there, don't you?
Likely, yeah.
Likely, yeah, okay. There's a landmark there, something that sticks out that people know about?
Sure.
Sure?
There's landmark everywhere, you know.
There are
So
not,
it's places.
well, not really.
No.
No.
I think it is.
Is there a landmark in Brandon?
For sure.
What?
Nothing.
Exactly. You're going to be a hard one. All right, Brent. Have you been there before? Would you go there?
Yes.
Sooner than later, later than sooner?
Later.
Okay. Later. That tells me that, you know, usually it's far away. You need to save up a lot of money. That's what it tells me. Usually, I could be wrong in this case, but I'm just speculating at this point. It's something that you need to save up for. Or you want to make sure that when you go there, it's properly planned out. Two things usually why people go there later. If I were to say it out loud, everyone in the room would know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a landmark there, something that sticks out that people, there's lots. Overload, overload. Focus on the location, Brent, just concentrate on it. That's interesting. No, it came very, very quick. Ryan, focus. Nice, that was good, that was good. You actually tried really hard there, like you actually stopped swaying for a second. Your eyes got all wide, it's good. Garrett, focus.
Practicing for the office.
Absolutely nothing. Okay, we'll come back to you. Mark, just concentrate. That's good, that's good. Concentrate one more time. Interesting, I don't know what it is. And looking at him, I got something from you. Yours is actually somewhat close to us, and when I say close, I mean within the country, isn't it? I'm thinking we got Paris, Toronto, Las Vegas, New York. That's what I got. Paris, Toronto, Las Vegas, New York. Okay, that's kind of what I saw because You were nodding when I said a landmark, and I put my hand up like this. You probably didn't realize that subconsciously. Eiffel Tower is what I'm kind of thinking. And also with you, I also said something about, that with I'm thinking CN Tower in Toronto. That's what I got. So, gentlemen, if I just named the location that you were merely thinking of, you may sit down to the thunderous round of applause you're about to get. Let's hear it for these guys, everybody. As you can see in that routine, I was very direct and very specific with the locations that each person was thinking of. This is a very powerful routine, and it allows you to start naming associations between the locations that people are thinking of on stage. In this next routine, you're going to see that it is a little closer to the standard tossed out deck format. Let's take a look at that now. One thing I love about what I do, I get to perform for wonderful people full time. It's fantastic. I live the dream. I get to travel quite a bit. In fact, recently, I got crowned with the title, the International Man of Wonder. How about that, eh? Thank you. I mean, it was at a family dinner. My mom said it. She just figured I was traveling so much. Anyways, no, I do get to travel quite a bit. And one thing I do whenever I travel is I actually go to the gift shops and I buy a little souvenir luggage tag of where it is that I'm flying to. They're blank. I fill them in just so I can kind of keep recollection of where I've been. I have an entire stack here. How are you? Good. Rise. Wow, okay. Get back down, actually. You're a little intimidating. What's your name?
Chris.
Chris. Holy smokes. Anyone else named Chris here? Because I'm going to... You? Okay, you're part of this. Anyone else? Anyone? No? Okay. Chris, I have here some luggage tags. If you could just go through those, make sure that they're different locations, that'd be fantastic. But you can see that they're all completely different locations, yes?
Yes.
Fantastic. Chris, you're going to be helping me out with this. So we have Chris, Jayesh, we need one more. Let's go a little bit over onto this, Tony. I'm going to have you help me out as well. Oh, look at that. You're trying to hide over there behind the little partition. What we're going to do is toss them out to you, and you're going to pick one of them. The way you're going to pick it is like this. Pay very close attention. You're going to hold your left hand out. Everyone show me your left hand. Okay, well, maybe just these four. I know you got it. It's these four I'm worried about right now. Jayesh, you got it. Chris, and Tony, fantastic. You'd be surprised how many people actually can't do this properly. Okay, left hand, you're going to put it face up. You're going to crack it open in one place, and you're going to burn that location into your brain. Sound good? All right. It's very, very simple. We're going to start with you. Once you're done, what I'm going to have you do is, Chris, you can just toss it over to Chris there. You have a beer in your hand. You're going to probably need to get someone to hold on to that. So just crack it in one location, burn that location into your brain, toss it over to Chris there. While they're doing that, once you're done, you're going to toss it to Jayesh, and then you're going to toss it to Tony. I'm just going to let you know kind of what we're going to do here, okay? I've been to these locations so many times that I kind of have started, picking up this intuitive ability with these locations. I'm going to start asking you questions. Yes or no answers is all I want. You're done? Toss them back up here. Fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll put those over here. Yes or no questions. Answer me honestly and as quick as you can. I'm going to see if just by watching how you answer, if I can pick up on a scale of how fast you answer which question, if I can tell you what it is that you're thinking. Chris, have you been to your location before?
No.
Would you go there?
Yes.
Sooner than later, later than sooner?
Sooner.
Oh, that's not a yes or no answer. Sorry, that was just for me. Tricked ya. So it's a place of importance, or there's an attraction there that would draw you to it. Sure. I've been to some weird locations, so that's why I asked that question. There's a landmark there, something that, oh, look at that. I wasn't even done my sentence and you answered. So that tells me it's a prominent landmark, something that everyone here is going to know. Very good. I like that. Chris, have you been there?
Yes.
Would you go there again?
Yes.
You had a good memory there, didn't you? Very good memory from the way you answered that. If I say the name of it out loud, everyone's going to know? Probably. Okay. Jayesh, hey, you been there?
No.
Oh, okay. Would you go there?
Yes.
You would go there. You know what you would do when you get there?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you go there sooner than later, later than sooner?
Sooner.
Sooner. Okay, so it is an important place, or there's something attracting you to it?
Yep.
Little smirk. Okay, I know exactly what yours is. Tony, have you been there?
No.
Would you go there?
Yes.
Okay, a little apprehensive. Okay, so it's not very important, but you would go there if you needed to, if business took you there, or if you had to go there with a friend or something. Okay, good. There's a landmark there. I'm seeing a landmark.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something. Nothing major, but there is something there. Yeah, okay. What I want you to do is just put your hands up in the air, okay? Put your hand up in the air, put your hand up in the air. Jayesh, hand in the air, and Tony, very good. I'm going to name 4 locations. If I name the location out loud that you were merely thinking of, what I want you to do is dramatically put your hand down, but not too dramatically where I start to question myself. Like, did I get it? Am I wrong? What's wrong with these people? Nothing like that, okay? Just kind of like yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, here we go. What I got was Las Vegas, New York, Paris, and Seattle. Now that you've seen the two main presentations of GPS, let's take a look at the props and the method of GPS. So I just wanted to chat a little bit about luggage tags right now. It's kind of funny because luggage tags don't actually exist in this form. In this day and age, it's a thermal printout when you check in at the airport. However, everybody knows what a luggage tag is. Every single time I've performed this over the years, when I go through them to show that all these luggage tags are different with different locations on them, people are nodding and verifying, and they're instantly accepted. As you can see in my presentation, I say that every time I go traveling, I go and I pick up a luggage tag because they have them at the gift shop. And I actually have people nodding in the audience as I look around and I'm telling them this. So these luggage tags are instantly accepted by your audience. I've never once had an issue when I have people verify luggage tags. They're nodding, they're giving affirmation that yes, these are random luggage tags. So here are the GPS tags. As you can see, some of the airlines that I have on my tags will be slightly different than the ones that you've received. This is the original prototype that I've been using, and the ones that you've received are updated. The GPS tags are printed on a very durable, thick cardstock. They're going to last you for hundreds of performances, as long as you take care of them. And you get about 100 of them. So 25 of each airline. You're going to get 4 different airlines. And you also get these 2 rubber bands here. I prefer the thicker rubber bands because they hold everything a little tighter together, and as well the thin ones I find kind of put a crease in the sides of the tags, and I just don't want that. So I've used these thicker rubber bands that you've received. You received 2 of them, and these are the props. Before you go into making the props, I want you to watch both of the versions of the performances of this routine so that you can make the version that is either best suited for you or that you can make both of them, because you will have enough tags to make both routines. So the way you've received the GPS tags is they're all in their own individual stacks. What you want to do before anything is create one stack and alternate them. So what I've started doing here is taking all the luggage tags and I just go through them in order and I create a stack, one solid stack, that completely alternates every single one of the luggage tags. What this does is it allows you to then break it up into the different packs and create the packs that you want, putting the locations and all the information that you need on these luggage tags. There's enough tags here to make a pack for both version 1 and version 2. And the way that it works is they're all going to have 33 cards in there. 33 cards is going to be a stack roughly this thick. It's a good thickness, it's enough to work with, it's manageable. It's important that before you start writing on the tags, you watch this DVD to the very end. There's alternate handlings, there's several performances and variations, and it's important that you watch it to the end so that you can see which ones will best suit you so that you can make those tags. Also, if your printing isn't the greatest, it would be important to find someone who has good printing and have them do the writing on the cards. You want to make sure that everything can be read very easily by the audience members. So far what you've made is one stack of 100 tags that are alternating. At this point, to make version 1, you're going to need to make 2 separate stacks of about 33 tags each. One stack is your 4 stack, and the other stack of tags is going to be the stack that you switch out that can be examined. Yes, there is a deck switch, but do not worry about a thing. It is simple, and by the end of the DVD, you'll feel comfortable doing that, just about as comfortable as doing a ball vase routine. So, this here is the 4 stack. The 4 stack has Palm Springs written on the top, and then what I've done is I've gone through these tags and I've written Toronto on every single one of them. As you can see, Toronto is written, my name is written, and Winnipeg is written for the name and address. I don't bother writing in there my exact address because quite honestly, people aren't looking at that. I've simply written my name, my address, and then Toronto on all of these luggage tags. At the very bottom, there's 3 luggage tags that I haven't written Toronto on. What I've written on there is Paris, New York, and Las Vegas. On the other stack of tags that we switch out, what I've done is I've written Palm Springs on the top. As you can see, it's the same as my 4th stack. But I've then written down completely random and different locations on every single luggage tag. I've kept Funk and Winnipeg at the top, but at the bottom, the destination, I've written completely different locations. This stack is the one we switch out for. This is the 4th stack. So once again, the 4th stack for version 1 is all Toronto on every single luggage tag except for the bottom 3. The bottom 3, in this case, I've put Paris, New York, and Las Vegas. There's a reason that I've put Paris, New York, and Las Vegas, and as we go through the routine later on, you'll see exactly why I've put those 3. So now we're going to walk through the preparation of the second version that you saw of the performance of GPS. What you need to do is take 33, or the remaining cards, the remaining GPS tags that you have, and we're going to make up an actual tossed out deck, the one where it just leaves your hand and it's in the spectator's hand selecting the location. And what that consists of is, again, the same top card, so that once the tags are switched out, they look identical still. But we're then going to make, I guess it's called a bank of 3 different locations. So what I've chosen for these 3 different locations are Las Vegas, Paris, New York. And it just repeats: Las Vegas, Paris, New York. Las Vegas, Paris, New York. All the way through for the entire pack of tags. So to make these, you have your last portion of the GPS tags. We're once again going to write the name and your city at the very top. Winnipeg. And then the destination of Palm Springs for the top card. And we're going to place that off to the side. That is now done. At this point, we're going to make that bank of 3. So I'll go Funk, Winnipeg, Las Vegas. Again, making sure that you keep it neat and legible. Next is Paris, so we're going to go Funk, Winnipeg, Paris. Having these locations randomly put on different tags also makes it very deceptive. If you ever have a spectator that kind of decides that they're going to thumb through it, which we're going to talk about eliminating that in your show, but should it happen, because there's different colors, different airlines, everything looks very different in here, it kind of throws off the mind, and it doesn't allow them to keep track of your bank repeating the same cities over and over again. Next up is Winnipeg, or New York, so we're going to write Winnipeg up here, and then our destination is New York. I would not use any abbreviations of any of the cities because you want to make sure that it's very straightforward. When they look at a tag, you want it to say exactly what you want it to say. I wouldn't use NY for New York, I would just write New York. And you just keep going through the rest of these tags, going Las Vegas, New York, Paris, Las Vegas, New York, Paris, all the way through until you've completed your force pack. The setup for this is very simple. I place my Palm Springs card on the top. I take my elastic band, I wrap it around twice. This pack is ready to go. I then take all the different locations, the tags that have all the different locations. I wrap the elastic band around that twice as well. And you are now set up to perform GPS. Now that we've gone through the props of GPS, I want to take you through step by step the exact process necessary to perform GPS, both in routine 1 and routine 2. So now I'm going to take you through step by step exactly what you need to do for version 1 of GPS. We've created the luggage tags. We have a pack where all the locations are completely different, and we have a pack with our force locations. In this case, for me, it's all Toronto, with the last 3 being Paris, New York, and Las Vegas. What I've done is I've wrapped an elastic band around twice on the pack that has all the random locations. And before the show starts, I put that inside of my left pocket, ready to go. Inside of my case, I have this stack of tags, but I don't wrap it twice with an elastic band because I want to get at them and be able to spread them slightly. So what I do is I take an elastic and I just put it around lengthwise, and that way I'll actually never get the 2 packs confused as well if they're both sitting inside of the case that I work out of. Once you're in this position, you're ready to go. So for me, what you saw was me going out into the audience and selecting 4 people at random. Very often I will do that and bring the show out there to the people because I feel it's an important way to interact and to reach out and make the people that sit further out in the audience a part of the show. So I walk out, and as I walk out, I remove the elastic band and I just wrap it around a couple fingers so that it's ready for me to get at. I go up to the first person, I have them stand up, and I say I have some luggage tags, and what I do is I spread them, but I spread them from the top. So what they see is just a bunch of words and colors, okay? As I do that, I say I have here a bunch of luggage tags that I've picked up over the years from all the different locations. I'm a bit of a collector. I then square them up, and they're gonna select the very first luggage tag. The way they're gonna select the first luggage tag is with a riffle cut force. And the way the riffle cut force works is like this. My left hand, I have it in dealer's position like a pack of cards with the holes at the very top. I riffle down and I try to get them to stop somewhere in the middle. When they say stop, my right hand comes and I grip everything, including that little break that I've made with my 2 front middle fingers, and I swivel over the top portion, right where they stop me. I then grab that into my left hand and I give 2 taps. The reason why I give 2 taps after I've riffled it down is because if I were to simply riffle it down and just go like this, it looks like you're taking the top of the pack, extending it and having him take the top of the pack. For some strange reason, when you riffle down, split it and swivel it over at the break and give 2 taps, it creates the illusion that it's coming from the middle of the deck. The illusion is very strong and it'll work, trust me. At this point, I simply push forward the luggage tag, I look away, and I have them take this luggage tag and hold it to their chest. While they're doing that, what I do, I'm going to place this down, is I replace the top portion that has the next force card, New York. I place that half of the pack back on top, and I'm ready to now do another riffle force. So I've gone through what I say, have you been there before? Would you go there again? Is there a landmark? If I were to say the name of this location out loud, would people instantly recognize it? I go through all those questions as you saw in the performance, and then I tell them to stay there and do not sit down. I then go off to another person somewhere else a little further out into the crowd, and I do the same thing. I riffle down and I say stop. And again, you do the swivel cut. So you swivel the top portion over, 2 taps, and push. I've now pushed New York, the next force tag, to them. They take it, and I put those cards back on top. I'm now ready to force my 3rd location, which is Paris. I then go to the 3rd person. I say to them, you've seen twice what you need to do, can you do it? They say yes, I riffle down, they say stop. For the 3rd time you do that riffle cut force, 2 taps and a push. They then take the 3rd location, which is Paris. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've actually put those 3 locations in alphabetical order. That way I never forget who has what. Las Vegas, New York, Paris, L, N, P. I know the first person is going to have the alphabet or the letter that comes first. I know the second person is going to be next, and so on. So the 3rd person now has Paris held to their chest. I have them peek at it. I go through the questions. And as I do that, I replace those cards back on top, and I turn the entire pack of luggage tags over And now I can see my general or my generic location, which is Palm Springs, on top. I say we're going to find someone, one last person, a fourth person, but we're going to change it up just a little bit. I don't want you to think we're using any of that sleight of hand stuff. At this point, I take my elastic band, I wrap it around twice, locking it into place. I tell them, you know what, we've eliminated sleight of hand with the elastic band. We're going to take it a step further. I'm not even going to touch these luggage tags. Would you help me out? I'm going to toss these luggage tags to you in a moment. When you catch them, I want you to hold them in your hand so you can read Palm Springs normally. But you want them to hold it so that Palm Springs is facing them as if they were reading it. You tell them to pull their right thumb out, and they're going to open up at one place, memorize the location, and close the pack. Crack open, they memorize it, and then they toss it back to you. So this is the standard tossed out deck application in this version. You can go back up onto the stage and you have these 4 people standing at random places in the audience, and you can start doing your readings. I'm starting to see a relationship between yours and yours. I'm starting to see a landmark, something high. And everything that you have about your locations that you've forced, you can start picking out, and you know the exact order of where they are. You give the revelation. You instruct them to sit down if you called out the location that they were picking. In this case, you can be very specific. I say Las Vegas, New York, Paris, and Toronto. If I just name the location that you merely thought of, which is an important thing to say, you may sit down. Now what happens while I'm going from the audience back up to the stage is I switch out this pack of luggage tags for the pack of luggage tags that are in my pocket. There's so much going on at this point in time that you could get away with so much and nobody's going to know. And this is the switch that I use. I have my back as I'm walking up to the audience, and I hold the luggage tags out to the right. My left hand goes into my pocket, and what I'm doing is I'm completely concealing the cards or the tags in my hands. The reason why I'm doing that is so that as I pull my hand out, nothing is going to catch. I don't want it to be halfway. I don't want there to be rubber band touching my denim. I'm going to completely conceal it so that it is now like this. My hand is all the way in. I have those tags almost like in a palm position in my hand, ready to go. I hold up these cards here, and as I'm walking up to the audience, or back up to the stage, excuse me, as I walk back up to the stage, I take the luggage tags from my right hand, I pull out the luggage tags from my left hand, I bring my hands together for a split second. As I turn around, I bring the regular pack into full view and stick my right hand in my pocket. What this does is it creates an illusion for the audience. You'll notice that the luggage tags don't seem like they ever leave this area over here. I'm holding the force tags, and then I quickly turn around and bring the tags back up. And in that motion, you're just doing this. So I have my regular pack in my pocket, the force tags here. I'm not going to turn around this time, but in the course of turning around, this is what happens. This is what it looks like up to speed as I'm walking back onto the stage. Once the luggage tags are a little bit inside of my pocket, very often with the back of my hand, I push forward, and that opens up your pocket to a nice big gap, so the other luggage tags literally fall straight into your pocket. 4 people select 4 random locations. You've done your switch as you turn around. You start giving them the reads. You start saying, I'm seeing a relationship between yours, between yours, between yours. At this point, very often what I do is I'll take the elastic band off, and a person in the front row, I'll actually take these luggage tags and put them on their table. I'll pause and say, as you can see, every single location on those luggage tags is a completely different location. There's nothing repeated in there. Everything is random. Yes? They say yes. I continue going on. You're completely clean at this point in time. All you have to do is perform, let the best of you come out, give the revelation, and as I sit down, take your applause. One more thing about the switch. Because you are out in the audience, if there is a moment where there's laughter, where you had some really good byplay, I would seize that moment as long as all 4 of your forces are done. If you have all 4 of the cards or luggage tags memorized by your audience members and something happens, what I do is I always have my left hand at this point while I'm in the audience in my pocket ready to go. I've done everything I've needed to. The 4th person has memorized the location. I don't need to have my other hand out because I don't need any, I'm not doing anything else. This is already in the position where it's already wrapped with an elastic band. If something funny happens, I use the same switch, which is the turn, but I just do it right in the audience. As I'm laughing, as everyone else is laughing, as they're looking at the person, if it was something they said, if it was something that took place, I seize the moment and I'll do the switch on an offbeat, which is right then, as opposed to when I'm walking back up to the stage. So if there is a moment, as long as your forces are done, you could switch the deck out whenever, or the 2 packs, whenever it is that you want to. I find that the bigger motion of me going up to the stage, when very often if it's a step, I'll hold these up, I'll jump up, and as I jump up onto it, I turn around and do this switch like so. But if you find a moment in the audience, I would seize that and make it even cleaner, because as you're walking up to the stage, you can then take the regular pack of tags and just drop it off as a table before you get to the stage.
Typically, you've got, I don't know, for example, you've got, that's your stack, and this is your random ones, right? So this is the stack you want to switch in. This goes in this pocket. This goes in this pocket. And you've got your elastic band. Now, this can work 2 ways. Oh, sorry, you've got this out. I apologize. This is already out. This can work a couple different ways. The one way you can do it is that you can have the elastic band in here, and the way this switch would work is that you take this thing, you go like this. Now I have an elastic band. You go down and in with both things, and then you come out like this, and you got the rubber band, and then you wrap it around it, and that's the switch.
Yeah.
The other switch is sort of a takeoff on the Tamara's crossing the gauge switch. This may seem a little more obvious, but in actual performance, it's not. So you take it from here. You're going from here. Let me just remember. So I'm going in here, looking for my rubber band, can't find it there. I go like that, and then I get the rubber band, and it's out here.
That's great.
That's the sort of a variation of the Tamara's crossing the gauge switch. And then
That looked great from this angle.
Right, so the audience is over here.
There you go.
But if the audience is on the side, again, it's something you want to practice in front of a mirror, in front of a camera. But
Yep.
those are 2 switches that I've used for toss decks and other deck switches, et cetera, that really play well, and under fire they're fine.
So here's a variation on the first version of GPS that you saw. In the first version, what I would do is 3 riffle force cuts in a row. And what I do here is I explain to the first person who's going to select a tag, that you are going to select a tag, and I'm going to riffle down the cards, or the tags. And when you say stop, you're going to determine the locations that everybody else gets. So I go up to the person and I say, call out stop, as I'm riffling down the tags, and they do so. And what I do is this swivel cut, and then I place that back on the top, and they proceed to take one tag, one after the other. So I walk down the row of guys. First person takes the first tag, which is Las Vegas. The second person takes the second tag, which is New York. The third person takes Paris, and the fourth person takes Toronto. As I'm doing this, I simply hold the tags out like this, and I look in the opposite direction, and they just simply slide the top tag off. This is nice because they hold the tags in their hands, and once again, I know exactly who has what, and I don't have to go through 3 riffle forces in a row. It kind of speeds up the process. So if I'm doing a shorter show, this is the version that I'll use. Now I'm going to take you through step by step of version 2 of GPS. This is more like the traditional handling for a tossed out deck. What I've done is I've taken my 2 packs. I have here the regular pack of tags, which has completely different and random locations, as you can see when I flip through. This is regular locations, all different. I take that pack, I wrap an elastic around it twice, and I put it inside of my left pocket. That's what I'm comfortable with. Feel free to play around with which pocket you would like, but I use my left pocket to hold on to the regular pack. I've gotten the 4 people from the audience that I want up onto the stage, and I've taken my other pack, which has been sitting inside of my case with the elastic band wrapped around once, like so. The reason why I hold it this way, or have it wrapped this way, is in case I have both of these packs in my case, I know which one is my force pack, which one is the one that goes into my pocket. So the 4 spectators have come up on stage, or the 3 spectators, sorry, in this round. What I do is I bring this out and I start to fan through them from the bottom so that the tops feather out. And it shows them that we have a bunch of random luggage tags with different locations on them, even though this one is my force pack that alternates between Paris, New York, Las Vegas. Paris, New York, Las Vegas. This is the stack of tags that has the bank of 3 locations repeated all the way through with Palm Springs on top. So I've shown them at this point, we have here a bunch of luggage tags, different locations, and different airlines. I then wrap it twice with the elastic band right around the center and tell them that what this does is it stops me from doing anything fancy with these luggage tags. In fact, we're going to take it a step further, and they're going to leave my hand. So I'm going to toss these to you. So out of the 3 people on stage, what I then do is I take these luggage tags and I toss it to the first person after giving the instructions of what they need to do. The instructions are this: you're going to hold the cards or the tags in your left hand, face up, with Palm Springs facing you. Take your right thumb and just crack it open at one location and burn it into your brain. I stress the importance of them cracking it open to one location and burning it into their brain, almost taking a mental picture so it doesn't confuse them, because that's the picture I'm going to need in a moment. If they go through, they're just going to see a bunch of colors and get a burst of air in the face, and it's not going to work out. So make sure you open it in one location. When I give that instruction, it always seems to work out very fine. They open it up in one location and crack it down like so. They don't spread through it because I'm very specific. So I grab these and I say, you know what? There's 3 of you on stage. This shouldn't take very long. I'm going to toss these out to the first one, and then you're going to toss them to each other, and I'm just going to walk along not looking at you. I don't want you to think I'm looking at the location you're looking at. First person catches it, they crack it open, burn the location into their brain. They pass it to the next person, they pass that to the next person, and they all do the same. By that point, I've walked in front of them looking at the audience, and I get them to put the luggage tags into my hand. At this point in time, I get them to start thinking about their location. As you saw in the presentation, I can't be as direct as version 1 because 2 of them could have looked at the same location and 1 of them could have been different. I don't know who selected what, so I have to be a little bit more vague. I have to start say I'm seeing bright lights, I'm seeing busyness. I'm not sure where I'm getting this from, but I'm seeing something very, very. Have you been to this location before? And I start asking those questions. Have you been there? Would you go there again? Do you have a good memory there? If I were to say the name of this location out loud, would you be instantly recognize it with a landmark? I ask all those questions and I get them to envision the location. As I'm doing that, my left hand is in my pocket, ready for the deck switch or the tag switch that you saw in version 1. My left hand is there ready. This pack of tags is ready to go. I'm asking them these questions. I constantly am looking to the audience and I'm addressing back to the people that are on stage that are helping me out. And the switch that I do with these 3 on stage is like so. I will grab this stack of force tags, and as I'm walking in front of them to the other end of the stage and turning around, I will simply do this. And what that does is it creates the illusion that one arm is standing out holding the tags. So again, it seems very, very strange that you're doing something like there's a discrepancy. But because one hand is there, I'm talking to them, I'm talking to the audience, I'm walking, this hand comes in as I simply turn around abruptly. What I've just done is I've done the switch. The force tags are now in my pocket, the regular tags are now in my hand. At this point, I can take off the elastic and say, you guys could have selected any one of these locations, but you selected the one that's stuck in your mind, that you're merely thinking of. It's important that you say merely thinking of because it enforces the fact that they're thinking of a location and that they didn't look at one. You're merely thinking of this location. In fact, at this point, I'll also take the luggage tags and I'll reach down to someone in the front row and I'll give them to them to verify that these are all in fact completely different luggage tags. Once that's done, you give your revelation. Las Vegas, New York, Paris. Those are the 3 locations that I saw. If I just named the location that you merely thought of, you may take your seat to this thunderous round of applause. The 3 guys or 3 assistants take their seat, round of applause, and you are complete. So those are the 2 main routines, the staples that I use in my show. However, the possibilities are endless for GPS. So here's a couple alternate handlings or ideas that you can use with GPS. This is a great application of GPS in a close-up situation. What I've done is I have alternated every single tag with a random location and a force location of the same airline. I've then taken the random location and I've cut a little notch out of the top of it. The reason I've done this is when you lay the random location over top of the force location, it appears as if the thread is completely going around that one tag. When in actuality, the thread is only going around the force tag like in the other variation that you saw earlier. What you're going to want to do once you've cut these, if you want to be able to spread through them, is maybe grab a little bit of roughing spray and spray the back of the random location and the face of the force location. This will allow you to have a stack of luggage tags that you can actually spread through and show completely different locations. When it comes to presenting this, you hold on lightly, you let them grab one luggage tag, string, and pull. And because of the notch in the card, that luggage tag is going to move freely. I'll show you on this one here. This is 2 of them together. When they grab the string and pull, it's going to move freely. And they're only going to grab the force location that you want. This is a great idea and variation that Bill Abbott actually had, where you only force one location. So if you're doing a routine where you need to have someone think of one specific location as a part of a bigger prediction, this would be a great presentation for it. What you need to do is go to Staples and purchase these little tags that have strings on them. Or what you could do is just take string from home and tie it into one big loop and kind of thread it onto each tag. We have here long threads that are only on the force cards. So you'll notice as I go through, only Las Vegas is written on these cards. And they each have a nice long string attached to them. What I've done with other cards is I've written different destinations on them. So each one of these destinations is completely random and different. You'll notice that they don't have long strings attached to them. Here we have a tag with a random location written on it. What we've done is taken string and simply wrapped it through a couple times and tied it into a knot on the back so that it won't come off. There's nothing long on it. It just has the illusion of having a string attached to it. This will make sense with all your random locations written on there in these small strings when placed on top of the pack of all your force cards. When you hold them, you'll notice that it appears that they all have strings attached to them, even though the top ones don't. So the presentation for this would be simply spreading through a couple of the top cards or tags that have different locations on them. You'll notice that what I'm doing is I'm keeping my hand slightly covering the top where all the short pieces of string are. So you simply spread through saying, we have here several luggage tags with completely different locations on. What I need you to do is select one of them. And the way you're going to select it is by grabbing one of these strings and pulling it. They can grab any string they want because only the force card or force tag has a string on it. They're only going to pull that one out. So they will grab the force location.
We're here with Chris Funk, the creator of GPS and a very good friend of mine. I thought we'd get to know Chris a bit better. I've known him since 1997.
Yeah,
In fact, Chris knows the exact date.
October 17th.
October 17th,
That's a lie.
1997.
That's a lie.
That was impressive, even though it was completely wrong. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your sort of history in Magic, and you've now made it a full-time career, and et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk a little bit about Chris Funk in the world of magic.
You know, years ago I used to have a show that it took like 9 cases to bring in. I'd have my birds, I'd have the vanishing bird cage, I'd have my PA, I'd have my regular case that I worked out of, I'd have my mic, I'd have all this stuff that I brought in, and I wasn't even doing it full time. So I was working a full-time job, then I'd go home, pack all that up, go to the show, bring it in, set it up, do the show, pack it down, take it home, bring it inside the house, and be in bed by 7 o'clock.
I'm exhausted hearing that.
I know.
And
So-
what changed that? What happened?
It just got to the point where I realized that entertainment was more about my show being entertaining was more about me. It wasn't about what I did, what my closer was. They're important,
Sure.
but not as important as who I was. And I relied too much on the props, too much on that being the big grandioseness of my show.
Right.
And I just decided one day, you know what, there's more to it. And so I just made this shift. I got rid of the birds, I got rid of the cage, I got rid of a lot of stuff, and I just started from scratch. And it was important to me that my show fit inside of a case, that I could just walk in with one trip with my PA, my show, my mic, everything. So I started working on new material, and it was really hard to break into new material because I was still thinking the way I thought on what I used to do in my show. So
Right.
like tossed out deck and so forth. And so it was important to me that I could change that up a little bit just so it seemed fresh.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where GPS was birthed out of.
Sure. And I've seen your show. I've seen, that sort of change from the large thing. And you did everything really well. I mean, the birds were fantastic, and obviously you got great audience response from that. It's hard to replace that with anything that's comparable, really. I mean, once you have a live animal, you take that out.
Yeah.
And I know that you've changed your show, the type of show that you do,
Yeah.
to be less. Not that it's less magic, but it's less general magic and more mind reading, more mentalism. Even though the magic's still there, you're almost like an impossibilist, or it's changed to. I think I'm trying to say that you're trying to engage modern audiences,
Yeah.
right? And by pulling out birds, there's nothing wrong with that, but you do fall into a cliche magician stereotype, even just visually as a show. And that's a good thing to get booked from people that are, they can rely on something that they understand or that they've seen before. But it's also a bad thing if you want to separate yourself from other
Yeah.
magicians. And I think that's another thing that I know that you've been working on. You've been trying
Very
to
much.
separate yourself, because it's stiff competition with other performers in your area, and I know that you also work across Canada as well. So you're not just in competition with the guy in your street or the guy in your block or the guy in your town. You're also in competition with we now work in a global marketplace.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm really interested because, you and I have been friends for a long time. People out in magic world out here that purchase this, they don't know you at all. What is your typical gig? What's your typical audience? What's your typical venue?
Oh my gosh. Well, I've texted you pictures of some of my typical venues, and they're pretty
horrendous.
horrendous. Some of them are. Some of them are fantastic. And I walk in there, and it's like this burden lifted off my shoulders, because it's like, I get to perform here. But my typical audience would be private parties, corporate events, after dinner entertainment, that type of a thing. I mean, I haven't done kids shows in a long time just because I'm horrible at them. I can't entertain kids worth garbage.
All right.
So adult shows, family shows are okay. I've actually done GPS in family shows, and it works out well because what family doesn't travel? Vacations and whatever. So kids are aware of that. They're learning locations in school. They can be a part of it. They might not know cards up until a certain age, but they
Right.
definitely know locations. So,
Yeah.
so I've done the odd family show, but my typical audience will be, company events, appreciation events, private parties, that sort of thing. That's kind of the bulk of what I do.
And what would be the average size of the audience?
Oh wow,
Average. I mean,
average. I would say average is between 100 to 150.
yeah.
I've done a corporate event for 5 people.
Right.
I have, and I've done a corporate event for 550 people.
Right.
So it's all over the map, but the average would be 100 to 150. During the peak seasons, Christmas, maybe fall till March seems like when all the meetings go on and so forth.
Yeah.
It seems like the average size then is about 200 to 300. But
Yeah.
then summertime comes around, you get private parties and so on, and that brings the number down.
And GPS plays for every one of those parties.
Everyone.
Every one of those events.
My show sits inside of its case in my garage
Yeah.
by the trunk of my car.
And it's a small case.
It's a small case. It's close to an hour show that I put on, works out of this case, and GPS stays in the case in the garage. And when I have a show, I throw the case in the car. I go do the show. Obviously, my mic and stuff isn't in the garage because I wouldn't want
Yeah.
that left out there. But yeah, it's a go-to. It's always ready to go.
Yeah.
It's always reset
Yep.
because when I get the 3 tags back that the people may have taken from variation 1, when I get them back, I just put them back in order, wrap the band around it, throw it in the case, and it's ready to go.
They're done.
They're done. So the reset on it is ridiculous. It just always works
That's great.
anywhere. If I'm going to be performing for a very, very, very small audience, I might only force 1 or 2 of them with a riffle force. It's just so easy to put into any situation.
Have you ever used a close-up or that type of environment where, I don't know, at a restaurant or at a banquet or have you ever done a close-up?
I haven't, but
No.
that's just because
You don't need to.
I don't need to. I don't do a lot of that. I don't do a lot of close-up anymore. Years ago, I used to work 3 restaurants a week, and I'm sure if I had it then, I would have incorporated it somehow.
Sure.
But I just don't do that anymore, so it hasn't been something I have done. But that's not to say it can't be done, because it totally can. We've gone over variations that
Yeah.
can easily be played.
It does have that possibility because it's a deck of cards essentially. You could do anything that
Yeah.
you could do with a deck of cards with these things. And one other idea that I had that you didn't touch on was sort of a Quran deck idea where you'd have a cyclical number of cards, sort of in between in different cards, so they could turn them face up and deal them into your hand, and they wouldn't see a duplicate for every 9 cards. I can't remember what it is, but basically they would continue and then they would stop where they wanted to, and every second card is a force card, so you simply they take
Yeah.
the card. Now, that also entails that you'd have 3 or 4 outs, depending on which one they stop at. But that might be something to think about, just sort of,
Totally.
from a creative standpoint.
Yeah.
To think about for close-up or stand-up. I mean, that's another possibility as well. But I think it's such a brilliant concept. I mean, I've had toss-up deck in my show for 15 years, probably my corporate show, and I finally found a presentation that over the last few years that I've developed, and I wish I had this before then, because I would have started to focus on this, because there's way more possibilities,
Endless.
endless possibilities
Yeah.
for this particular thing, because the idea that they're thinking of a place. Well, the place has a climate, the place has a weather system, the place has type of people, the place has types of food, places have iconic architecture, the place has
Sports teams.
Yeah,
like,
you've got endless revelation possibilities.
You do.
And that's what I love about it. I think, when you for anybody that does any sort of mentalism, or anybody does any sort of Mental Magic or anybody that does anything like that, I think this is such an easy drop into a show, and it doesn't have to be used as a mind reading thing. It can be used as a premonition effect. Can be used as could play as a prediction. You know, I know you use it as well, not only to read minds, but it's also part of a larger prediction later on in the show. And I think that's the beauty of having this type of a thing. You know, one person, you know that person is thinking of that thing or whatever. I personally, the idea I came up with the strings, you know, the luggage tags having the strings, I mean, you could use long rubber bands or anything really, ribbons. I like the hands-off nature of that as well, like where you're just holding the cards by the edge and they just pull.
It's clean. It's so clean. It's so clean.
And you know, it seems so above board because you show all these different ones. They just pull one out and you're done. And you know, if people want to take the time and effort to do that, that's a great force. I think it's so clean. So if you have like a lot of people have a vacation prediction or some sort of a destination prediction, that's a great way to do that force that seems very above board and fantastic. So that's what a versatile utility prop. And if guys and girls add this or at least have it. I mean, my thing is that I now have this, so I have it in my case, and if I need to use it, it's there. I'm constantly coming up with ideas as well, and sometimes I want to customize a show to a particular client, or I want to do. Now I can force a place, and that place could be literally anywhere, and that's great. I mean, to me, that's fantastic.
I love what you said, how it's essentially a deck of cards.
Yeah.
Because you could use it as a deck of cards. If there's something you want to do that uses a sleight with deck of cards, but you don't want to do a card trick, because for some reason it seems like the mindset of a lot of entertainers this day and age, I don't like card tricks anymore, or I don't want to do a card trick. Well, audiences still do like them. It's a fact, right? But this is just a new way of approaching it, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons that we do card tricks, I think, one of the reasons I do card tricks is because there's so many effects possible with a simple deck of cards. It's also something that's easily recognizable, easily accessible to any human around the world. So these are symbols and signs and numbers and letters that we all can instantly identify, instantly associate with.
Yeah.
Except for small children, obviously. Other than that, the sky's the limit. And I think, but like you, I probably have too many cards. I keep thinking I have too many card tricks in my show. My audience's reactions and the way they adapt and the way they feel after the show is not. They don't come up to me saying, "Wow, that's a lot of card tricks." They come up to me saying, "Wow, what a great show!" Hopefully, but it brings texture. It brings an open, a totally sort of a jet setting type feel. Like or traveling the world. It also gives a really interesting impression of the audience. Gives the audience a certain impression of you. It's like, if they buy into the thing, and it's no reason why they shouldn't, you buy into the fact, I travel quite a bit for my job. And every time I travel, I put a luggage tag on my thing, and I get these luggage tags from the airlines, or I get it at the gift shop, or so every time I fly, I throw this on my thing, and these are the leftover luggage tags. There's no reason why they shouldn't buy into that, and even if the hardened skeptic says, that's not possible, it doesn't matter, because everyone is buying into the idea that, first of all, there are luggage tags. He must travel. He's a performer. These are all things that people can buy into. And then when you have this revelation, you have these things happen. It seems so amazing. It seems so above board and also accessible, and makes sense that you would have these things and that you would be using these things.
And it's great. Like, I've done shows in rural Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, in areas where people might not even travel all that much.
Sure.
And they accept the luggage tags.
Yeah.
It's like they just automatically exist.
Yeah.
They just are, right?
Yeah.
And so people, they do accept them. I've never had a question about them. I've had people examine them afterwards, and they're given the nod of approval and everything, right?
I was going to mention also another way to do it, and I know John Archer does it this way, and I think somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Wayne Dobson does it similarly. Instead of having them face up, so you see Palm Springs here, and you're taking a